Good morning, guys. So I decided that this bed really needed sorting out. It just needed a bit of a refresh and a change. So as you can see, I removed some of the lavender plants that were in there. I'm just preparing the bed for some alliums. These are giant red alliums, I believe, and I put a few of those in here. I don't know how they're going to do, but we'll see. It's the first time I've planted these, especially in a raised bed like this, so I have put 2 of them at the allotment. So it will be really interesting to see the difference between the ones in the raised bed and the ones in the allotment. So next I was just going through the tulips that I was a bit late with. As you can see, this one is no good. So unfortunately I did lose a few, but I'm just scattering out a few of the tulips depending on where I want them to go in the bed, along with the alliums. These should look really nice in here. I'm really excited to see them. So we've got hemisphere tulips. Some of these tulips I have planted at the allotment, but I wanted to keep most of them for the pots and for the raised bed in the garden, just to see how they do. I'm not sure if they would get eaten by anything at the allotment. So I've tested with a few other tulip varieties to see how they'll do at the allotment. So I'm just organising them here, deciding on which colour I want to put and where. And the next ones are Armenicum. I could be pronouncing it wrong, I'm not entirely sure. These ones are, I believe, a really bright blue. So I'm just scattering them amongst with the tulips too. You can't really go wrong when it comes to tulips. As long as they're not touching, they're pretty okay. And unfortunately, these narcissus were no good, so I noticed that they'd gone off. So I had to get rid of those. Next is Lily of the Valley. I've got one of these. I believe there's one. Hopefully this should do well in the raised bed. So I'm not sure about the extra stuff that comes in the packet. I usually just put that in the soil. There's no harm really. And there is just the one root. Hopefully this does well. I was just trying to figure out which way this goes. So of course you can see the little shoots at the top, so make sure they're at the top, roots are at the bottom, so just tucking that one in now. I'm going to get some mulch for this raised bed. I haven't put mulch over it just yet, and I think I should, just to tidy it up and to cover the shoots that are sticking out of the ground, but they should be okay. Of course, label is really important. Sometimes I forget to label what I'm planting and then I forget. So I'm just labeling this one now so that I remember what I've planted and where it is. Cup of tea. Every gardener needs to start off their day. I'm just looking at all the spider webs around me. The setup in my shed isn't perfect, but it's what I'm working with at the moment. It's the first time I'm sowing seeds in a shed. I normally would do this and have them on a sunny windowsill in our house that we lived in previously, which was south facing, and I think this is the earliest that I have considered starting my seeds from. I'm mainly focusing on some flowers that I know that will take some time. Now, the setup in here is purely a test really to see how it does. I'm hoping to get a polytunnel this Saturday for the allotment so that I can, once they germinate, I can move them there. Time will tell, and of course it's purely going to be different for me this time around because I will be not using containers as I've been used to doing so. I've always had to use containers in the past because the garden that I was in beforehand
didn't have the space and also had clay soil, so it wasn't great, I found, especially for vegetables and things like that. It just didn't do so well. I'm not so clued up on veggies and growing veggies as much as I am flowers, although I have dabbled with growing some veggies in the previous house that we lived in. Though it did work, we didn't have sort of huge yields, like a huge harvest from those plants. So we will see this year, our first year with an allotment. I understand that it is a lot of work, kind of nervous about that, but we will see. And I've also got some bulbs this year that I'll go through, and flowers that I have previously grown that will continue hopefully to grow another year. I've mainly ordered through Farmer Gracie, so dahlias, spring bulbs, summer bulbs, things like that. I've got from Farmer Gracie, Sarah Raven for the sunflowers. Yeah, so we've still got quite a few of those left. I've had a good glug of tea now. This feels really personal in here. Right, so I've just got my seed starting compost in a tray here, and I've just put some in a pot purely so I can add some water to it to dampen it down. I have pre-soaked some sweet peas. I didn't actually soak them overnight. You can soak them overnight. Because of their hard shells, really, you want to soak them for a long amount of time so that the germination rate is faster. I also pre-soaked some peas because why not? I've got some peas to put in, but mostly sweet peas. They are mixed, so we've got a mixed set, pinks and purples, and then there's a few white ones in there as well. I just soaked them in a jug. I'm going to sow them individually into root trainers. There's a root trainer set, and they're going to go in there. I'm also going to try using this for tomatoes and for peas and just anything like grows fast, maybe even sunflowers too, but we'll see. I have an excessive amount of seeds. Don't be freaked out by this, they're not all going to be sown this year. It's just a collection that I've collected over the last year or so, and a handful of them were gifted to me by a neighbour who was clearing a property for somebody who'd passed away, and she knew that I would use them, so I've got quite a lot of veggie seeds that are in there. And I also grabbed some flower seeds this month from B&Q. There were quite a lot of them marked down, so I thought why not, we'll give them a go. I also ordered some spring bulbs from Farmer Gracie. Now I was late planting these and still am late planting these because I was moving, and the moving all of my plants from the garden was really excessive, and I didn't realise how long and how difficult it would be. So we were just really delayed with everything, and also the allotment was given to us in May, just after my dad passed away. My hair looks really strange. So the allotment, there was a lot of work to clear it. There's still a big mound of earth at the end of the plot that was left. They had quite a lot to clear. So what I ordered from Farmer Gracie, some gypsophilia. So there's 3 roots in there for gypsophilia. I didn't have any luck growing gypsophilia the last couple of years. I don't know why that was. It was full sun. I planted it in a raised bed with a few other plants, so again it might have been companion planting for me. This one is Tulip Hemisphere. I'll try to include some images or links in the description. Tulip Finola. So 10 of those, 10 in each bag. I can't pronounce these plant names. Sila Siberica. These are a bright blue shade. They kind of remind me of crocus flowers. They're quite small, and I thought these would give a really nice pop in the ground with the spring plants. I have planted a couple of these at the allotment, not so many because I don't know how they'll do. I did a container for the garden here, and I did a lasagna method. If you don't know what lasagna planting is, you can usually find videos on YouTube about lasagna planting. Farmer Gracie describe on their channel how to lasagna plant your bulbs, and the idea is that you have the bulbs that will plant the quickest at the top, and you plant them in succession to when they would flower. So you have your crocus that come up first, and your muscari and your spring flowers, and then through to the summer. Your tulips in spring, and then your summer bulbs will continue to grow through to June, even July. So yeah, I tried that again this year. I've had success lasagna planting in containers before. They did really well. These are Muscari armeniacum. That's the spelling. It's probably not going to show on the screen very well, so again, I'll have to link them. These ones, I think, are the standard purple Muscari. They're really bright. I ordered these with a tulip set. It may have been Finola, as a bundle, and together they look so nice because you've got the pink pops of the tulips with the Muscari just covering like a purple carpet, and that's what I wanted to do in the allotment. Again, I don't know if they're going to grow so well in the soil there. We just really don't know. Maybe they will, you know. I really don't know, because for me, planting straight directly into the ground is totally new to me because I haven't had the space to do it before. So yeah, we'll see. The Muscari Baby's Breath is one that I have already planted in a lasagna pot for the house here and also in the allotment. These are like a baby blue colour in a pastel-y shade. And last of all, Tulip Alexander Pushkin. These ones are really vibrant. I can't remember if they're pink or purple. I know I have a mixture of pink and purple tulips. The purple ones are a little bit darker and the pink ones are quite vibrant. One of them has sort of like white with pink streaks on them, so it could be those. Colour purple and brown. So these are the darker tulips. It does say the colour on them. Finola is the pink ones, and Tulip Hemisphere is red and cream colour. It's the whole order that I ordered from Farmer Gracie. Postage time does take a while, but I think it's worth it because their bulbs are really good quality and they're packed really nicely. And I tend to keep the boxes, and sometimes they're handy to put dahlias in if you want to store them over winter. I've done that with these boxes before. You just use a bit of newspaper, wrap them up nicely. But yeah, and they fit in here really nicely. I've also got some little Minnow dwarf daffodils for, I think I've planted a few of those in the allotment too. And in terms of my other bulbs that I have, some of these bulbs I'm going to plant today. It is a rainy day outside, it's cold and miserable. Also got some copper tape to try for the raised beds at the allotment. Copper tape has kind of worked for me in the past for containers. Only certain containers though. It didn't really work for the raised bed that I had in the garden, but I only had a liner in that. The liner should have really stopped the slugs and snails, but I found that they used to climb up in between the liner and the raised bed and getting that way, so I don't know, something to try this year. I have so many seeds, so I have a ton of seeds in this pot. Some of the seeds in here I have harvested from flowers in the past from my garden, also wildflowers like borage gladioli, so mixed gladioli I went with for a bit of colour. But I also grabbed 2 packs of ranunculus corms. Ranunculus corms are really good if you soak them beforehand, and you need to soak them for a good 24 hours really, just to make them swell, and then they do really well when they're planted that way. I did a lasagna container with some ranunculus flowers and they look really nice. So yeah, we'll give these a go, and these come in a mixture of colours. Grossi do really, really lovely ranunculus roses. I'll try and include a picture here of one I had in the past. It was like a raspberry ripple colour. It looked like a big scoop of ice cream. It just looks so fluffy and lovely, and it grew really well in my raised beds. I have that many crocuses. I did get some crocuses from Farmer Gracie in the order. It was called Panda. I've already put those in the allotment, so they're already planted in the ground, so hopefully they will come up first. Something else that I saw recently on, I think it was YouTube, somebody was using toilet rolls instead of root trainers, so you don't even have to get root trainers really. Toilet rolls will work just as well. He put them in a container, so there was about 6 of them in a container, and he filled them up part way with the soil and then put the seeds in and then filled them up to top, and then he covered the toilet rolls with compost so that they weren't exposed at top. And yeah, the sweet peas worked really well that way too, so you could even do that, and I think that's something I'll try as well. If I've got so many growing, I can also give that a go instead of buying another container like this. But this one's really handy just to be able to see the root growth. I've never used these before. They open up nicely like a little book, and I just really wanted to give them a go. As you can see, coming open there. I may have filled that one up too much. But yeah, it's all part of learning, isn't it? It would be exciting to see how they look and how well the roots go, because I think what inspired me to grab this was I have grown sweet peas just in regular pots actually, and obviously they're very leggy. They're a bit like cosmos, they grow fast. There's a big lump of soil there. I haven't sieved my soil. I did kind of do it by hand really and go through it. There, that'll do nicely. Something I do want to try this year is trying to divide my dahlias that I've had for several years. I don't know how long they're supposed to last for, but I've had dahlias for a good 5 or 6 years. A couple of them I did lose to the weather because I didn't bring them into store, but you know, some winters they've been okay. I need like a smaller scoop because putting this, you know, soil into there is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Not really much space in here. I love this mug. It says, take your time. I do, trust me. I know that for a fact because my tea is cold now. Still tastes good though. Okay, so on the left side we're going to have these sweet peas here. On the right side we're going to have these ones. Well, there'll be more in the middle. And then I have 6 regular peas which I ordered from Chiltern Seeds. That's somewhere else that I order my seeds from. Go into that later on and let you know what I ordered, but I ordered one of my favourites, which is cucumber melon. So we're going to give those a go, and again this year they did really well in previous years. I sowed 28 of them originally for the 28 cells. I did not think about normally I would sow 2 seeds per module, but of course I wasn't thinking of that when I was getting ready to go to bed. So we'll have to see. Now I spread a little bit of vermiculite over the top. Now what I will do this year is write down when I planted it because I keep forgetting. So today, when my pen works, today sowed sweet peas. 2. Those marked down so I know when I sowed those. Really? Chatty. Picked some flowers. It's a bit too high. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Picnic spot.
Just a minor technical difficulty.
told me to wait in the car while we get this greenhouse. It's absolutely tipping it down. Carrying it into the allotment. What a brilliant day to take a greenhouse to the allotment. I just promised to run him a bath and make him some dinner while he carries that. I feel awful sitting in the car. It's got to go all the way to the end. I'm sorry, babe. Here they are. So I went to a local, it's like a local garden store. Excuse the cold, guys. It's so bad at the moment. We went to collect the greenhouse yesterday in this weather. And yeah, so I'm full of cold now, but it was worth it. So I grabbed these. I can't pronounce this. Astabil. Is it? Astil? Astib. No. Astabil. I think it's Astabil. Anyway, I grabbed 2 of those in pink. I hope that these will grow okay in a large, like, galvanized container that I'm thinking about putting it down the end in between the shed and the gate door there, just to add some height. I'm not sure. I grabbed, of course, another dahlia. I've grown this one before and I really liked it in some containers, so I grabbed this one. It's called Edge of Joy. I grabbed these, some mini daffodil bulbs. You get 4 in this pack because of this container. Well, some containers that I found. I'm going to show you those first now. I grabbed these in a charity shop for 50p. These little baskets. And I got really inspired by the local flower store. I wish I took a video of it in there. Maybe next time I visit, I will film if they are okay with it. They are a local island store and they use all sorts of containers like this to put spring bulbs in, and they create like a little mini display. And they also put in flat moss, she called it, which looks really nice with the spring bulbs. And I also got, it's not in here, I think it's in my bag, it's a metal candle holder that has a spike on the end. So when you fill this with bulbs, you can put the candle holder in and then put a long taper candle in the middle. And I grabbed this galvanized pot in there, which wasn't too bad. I think it wasn't too bad price, really. It was £12. Wasn't too bad. I will get a hammer and nail and bang some holes in the bottom of that. And of course I ended up getting a hydrangea pink lady. I can't say that name right now because I'm so full of cold. I grabbed this and a magnolia tree. Now I know that this might be a case of eventually I have to take this with me so that I can get it in the ground. I aim to do that. So yeah, I am so excited about these 2. I mean, just if that doesn't scream Easter, obviously it won't look like that. I will plant it in there properly, but if that doesn't scream Easter, I don't know what does. It's just so, it's so sweet. Anyway, I thought I would show you those and perhaps we can add little bits and bobs in there to make it nice. Excuse my dirty mat. This is why I've got a plant pot on here. So this is how my windowsill looks like at the moment. It's only temporary. It's not going to be here long because soon enough they're going to grow too tall to be in here and I'll have to put them in pots. And then that's when hopefully I'll have the greenhouse set up. And then this, got this from Temu. It's really good. And I think it has made a difference because that tray was like this one. I brought both of them in from the shed. And already I've just got a whole row of beetroot that's come through. And also cosmos. Cosmos is so pretty. And I've got a chili plant there as well. But the others are just been really slow. I don't know if the pepper's really good because the packet was quite old. And carrots, apparently, didn't know this, they like to be direct sowed. So like in the spring, you put them straight where you want them to grow and cover them with like a plank of wood because they like being in the dark. Didn't really know that. So just when I say that, look, can you see there's a seedling there? So yeah,
just what works. And then in this one I've got strawberries. I don't even know if they will. These ones have been really slow, but this is a lot I did that one first. So yeah, we'll see. So they're there. My house plants are doing quite well. Look at my orchid. I repotted it. These little things, these little beads here, have made my houseplants so happy. They're like little clay little granules. I got them in B&Q. Look at the babies on that. And since I have put those on the top, it stops any bugs. It stops it getting too damp. That's what all of that stuff in there is. It's called vermiculite. It just stops it from going mouldy. So over here, look at this mess. I've got these two, and they just plug in, you know, here, and then these little lights come on. But these are rubbish because the wire isn't long enough, so it pulls it off like that, so it's a bit rubbish. But this size is good because then I can have those on the windowsill. And that's veggies for the allotment already starting. I want to grow some artichoke this year, so we'll see how they do. So we haven't had much germination with this tray just yet. As you can see, I've taken my cosmos out because they do tend to germinate first. I always do this. I always put cosmos on, even though I know they're going to germinate first. And to be honest, everything's been okay, really. It's on a heat mat. I've got some lights here. The lighting at the moment isn't too great. As you can see, it's very grey. So, you know, some of them I'm still waiting for. I'm surprised pak choi is a bit behind. But, you know, in the warmer weather, they're normally the first to shoot up. Lupins, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be successful with lupin seeds. And maybe I shouldn't pair them with vegetables. I don't know. I mean, it's just to germinate them and then move them on. Lettuce has not been great here. But looking on to these ones, this little propagator here has the option to have lights in, which I do at night. Oh, I can't really see what I've sown here because I've squashed them in here. I've got Venus tomatoes, which were an old seed. Oh, not focusing. And they have come through really well. Fennel, I've got one of those in the corner. And then on the other side, artichokes. We've got no artichokes yet. I'm not filming it very well because I'm looking at the names. And perhaps something chili. I can't read it through the plastic here. I have got two of those over there at the back row. Cosmos, of course, these are the ones I pulled out earlier and repotted. They tend to do all right. And we've got lots of beetroots as well. The beetroot's doing okay, but one cosmos that's not done well. This one was a bit like that earlier and it's perked back up, so I don't know why that is. Vermiculite on the top to prevent any damp. We'll see how they go. So that's those ones there. The orchid is doing really, really well. Can you see how many flowers is on that orchid? It's just so happy since I repotted it with some orchid mix and those clay granules on the top. Yeah, so in here I've got, God, let's see if I can read it. Gaillardia lollipop red. That's on the left. And we've got Little Gem and Romaine lettuce on the second cell row from Chiltern Seeds. Amaranth, Green Giant. We've got loads of these little seeds coming through. And then the tiniest ones, it won't focus, is the Mini Mint. And they seem to be doing really well. So yeah, these containers seem to be doing really, really well. And the bigger containers, not so much. Right, I've got my cup of tea in my new gardener's mug. Look at that, so nice. Loo rolls, this is my collection so far. These are going to be great for peas and sweet peas, so I'm going to give these a go in a container. And also I picked these onions up. Now, I haven't grown onions before. I have sown some onion seeds. I don't know how long it takes from seed to this sort of size. As you can see, the bulbs in there, they're quite a small size. But I thought I would give these a go from Sainsbury's, and the shallots as well, which I don't know what sort of size these grow to. But yeah, we'll give these a go, and you know, that's 88 onions for the allotment. So that's a lot of onions. If they do grow okay, we'll see. But as you can see, my Dicentra is doing really well on the windowsill. She's really happy. And then I've got some dahlias here and more dahlias in the front room. These are Edinburgh and Romeo. Romeo is a single dahlia, and the Edinburgh ones are the pom-pom. So I have some hollyhocks, some mixed hollyhocks. It's because I have grown hollyhocks from seed before. I've got this colour here, and these seeds were wild ones that I found a long time ago, and I've grown from that plant for the last 2 years, and they've always come out this colour and they've been fine. And I've got a ton of these seeds. So, you know, if it's sun or, you know, spring months aren't as forgiving and they don't do so well, I've got some roots here and also some rhubarb. Now, the rhubarb, the first year, we're not going to be able to use or harvest rhubarb from, but leave it the first year. The second year, it will grow back a lot better. It does tell you that on the packaging. We've got a table and chairs there that have the rustic charm going to the allotment, and I'm considering whether to spray them or not. I've got alliums in that raised bed along with some tulips, and then I'll be putting some dahlias in that bed in the summer. This is the one that we'll be taking to the allotment, and I'm thinking about spray painting it in some areas so that it doesn't look quite so rusty. I thought the idea of a rusty table like that would add some charm. It probably would, you know, but it is very, very rusty, so we'll see. So that's my recap so far. We're yet to build the greenhouse, so that's going to be the next thing on the list to do. I'm so awkward in front of the camera. What else is there to do? There's a lot more that I plan to share on the channel, and it will be a mixture of stuff because that is a good representation of myself. So it will be a mixture of gardening, a mixture of what I'm up to, vlogging. I really enjoy the vlogging side of things. Hope that you're well. Wish you a great day. Take care, and I will speak to you soon.